Testing. I think it looks like these work, so that's cool. If audio is too loud, like the music in the background, please let me know, as per usual. But we'll get started here in about 2 minutes. All right, hello everyone. It's really weird. I got my headphones kind of working. They are at least working for my, like, I can hear like the synth wave in the background now, which is great. And I think it's matching like the same like audio, but so weird. I can't hear myself yet. I need to get a new cable that goes from my headphones to the audio interface, and then I think I can finally hear everything at once. I can probably pipe the music into there and do all the good stuff so I can hear everything. If not, like, it's fine. If you're joining on Twitch and you're not watching like the replay or watching from somewhere else, you'll notice there is a, hey John, what's up? Hello. How's it going? You'll notice that there's like a little bits goal. I like to be outrageous with my goals and have a little bit of fun. And so that is like around the same price as like a down payment for a house. That's always what I put my goals to. Whenever that seems like fun to work towards. So that's what that's towards. That's why it's so massive. You know, have fun with it. Why not? Yeah. It would be really cool. Oh, I took off the, awesome. I'll have to fix, I forgot to adjust this. Hey, Compile, how's it going? It would be great. It'd be really cool if on Twitch, like, I hit that goal, but, I absolutely do not need to hit it through Twitch bits. I just don't know what else. I'm like, why not? Why not put it there? One sec. Let me go fix an overlay real quick. Let's see if I can. Wrong one. Switch. Yeah, but how's it going, Compile? How's it going, John? What's up? How's Sunday treating y'all? I think it's this one. We'll do it. I was just gonna hide that. Save. Let me make sure one other thing is done. Edit here. Can I Matrix upload your experience and knowledge to me? And knowledge to me. Oh, I wish. That would be very nice to be able to do. Oh, why? Hold up. That's fine. Hold on. I messed up text color here. Boom. Should be at least more seeable now. Save. Oh, that would be so nice, because I would ask the same from Compile as well. He has so much knowledge that I just don't. I'd even be down for like knowledge sharing, like a shared bank. That'd be good. Finally, warmer than 40. Ugh, congrats. That is always a good like win there, to be honest. Yeah, that is always a good win there. Being warm is a nice one. Right, I think I should have that all fixed now. You worry for Deep Dish that they have Cocoa Type, Nutterfy, and Adam Wolf all in one place. I know. It is like the place to be now, this week, apparently. I wish I could have made it work, like, personally to be there as well, but it just didn't work out this time. But I wish it had. Let's move that guy. There we go. Sorry, trying to still stream and figure out where things are going. Getting back into the groove of things. Yeah, no, for real, Deep Dish is the place to be. Also, Michaela Karen's there as well. I think she's doing a talk, if I remember correctly. Anyway, lots of people are Deep Dish. If you're not familiar with Deep Dish, it's a Swift programming conference that is in Chicago, hence the name Deep Dish Swift, and that is the place to be right now before Dub apparently, which is in a couple months also. Thanks. I am also glad to be back on streaming. I figured the nice little break was good. Was able to get settled into the new place, all that jazz. Now I get to come back into like some more, and now I gotta get settled into some more routines and all this fun stuff. I was trying to do a lot more like recorded content and shorts and stuff on like Instagram and YouTube and all that, but it wasn't working. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go back to streaming. It's fun. It helps me get projects done from time to time, all that good stuff. Also, I really like chatting with everyone. Like, I missed kind of talking with everyone again. So here we are. We're back. Deep pockets to go. Maybe I'm not understanding. Yeah, but the deep pockets to go comment. My brain is still warming up as well, apparently. It is 2 o'clock here, but I should be warmed up, but it's not. But yeah, I'd be at Deep Dish if I didn't have other things planned right now. Oh, does it cost a lot? I think their tickets are like $500 to $600 whenever I last saw them. Work was gonna cover it. I just couldn't, and that was even better. I just couldn't swing it, like, personally, like, with stuff going on around here and like other stuff going on with like trips and such. So it just wasn't in the cards this year. I think next year, if work will cover it again, I'm more than happy to go. If not, and let's say this app ships and things are blowing up, I'll probably still try to go. We'll see what happens though. I'd love to be able to hit like a conference, because I think they're fun. My last job was a lot, not my last job. A couple jobs ago, I was doing a lot more like public facing positions, where I was like talking with people and such, and that was really cool. I really like the community aspect, hence why I'm also really happy to be back streaming. But yeah, so that was like fun. So seeing people in person is a really like fun time, in my opinion. Yeah, security conferences, I'm sure it's like the same thing. And you get to talk shop. You get to talk and hang out with all the nerds and geeks and people who just really like this stuff and just really like have so much to give. Like, it's just such a cool opportunity to go. All right, so what are we doing today? We are going to be working on more in the back end side of things. We're going to be working through, I made a couple tasks for today. So we're going to start with creating a route group called API specifically, so that I can do, just do like /API/user/budgets, all that good stuff. So here's the examples in my descriptions. Yeah, so something like this. And then all my routes for all that we're building are going to be built off of that. And then we'll go in with the ability to create new objects. So whether that's to create a new user, delete a user, edit a user's display. Today is all about getting the user object being able to be written, created, edited, all that good stuff. We are tackling this project, so if you're new or just joining, this is a brand new app, because it wouldn't be Jay returning to streaming unless I really wanted to make a new app, so I am. This is supposed to be very similar to You Need a Budget or envelope budgeting, but where every dollar is accounted for. So I think it's also called zero-based budgeting. Anyway, you don't ever want any money just sitting around waiting for something to do. You want to give it the opportunity to have a job, whether that's savings, whether that's next month's budget, whatever it is, it has a job that it's assigned to. So that's what we're building. What inspired this build was the fact that You Need a Budget is raising their prices. Me saying, oh, I can probably build that. Let's try it. So instead of, trying to go for something that's off the shelf, why not try to build my own? Also, because I don't mind paying the money for You Need a Budget. It has probably saved me a lot more than $110 a year. So I don't mind investing in it. I just think that this would be a fun opportunity to figure out if I can build a tool that I actively use. This has been rummaging around in my mind for about a year now, so that's kind of what we're going off of. But yeah, so this is it. This is what we're going to do today. Focus on the user. You have to have a user to be able to do anything. So in my mind, this makes sense. The part that we won't be touching on today is anything in the iOS world. We're going to start building with backend side. So the iOS world, accounts, I'm not going to touch accounts. I hate dealing with security and stuff like that on account wise. Dealing with people's passwords, dealing with emails, stuff like that. I just don't want, which is really funny because I'm going to build a whole database full of users transactions and really personal information to them. I'm not going to also do that though. I will have a, my plan before this launches is to figure out how to put end-to-end encryption so that it's, maybe not end-to-end exactly, but at least encrypted on the database so that I don't have access to your transaction information or any information except for the user database that except for the user table that we're making now. And that way I just don't see any of that info and I can't see it. It's why I really like using CloudKit and Core Data, is that I don't have that ability to see it, even if I wanted to, but we're gonna not use CloudKit and Core Data here, because if this does work on the iOS side, I'm really happy with it. We're gonna go to a Mac app, and then maybe a web app, and then a web app also, and eventually I guess maybe we'll hit Android. I don't know. Really big plans here, but first we gotta finish the back end and get the iOS app going. Really sad my tea is almost out. All right, so though, this is what we're gonna be doing today. I'm gonna switch over to cursor so that we can do this. And we can hit this. There we go. Yeah, completely agree. Avoid user data wherever I can and let the more knowledgeable, exactly. Yeah, just let, people who know what they're doing kind of handle that as much as possible. Again, I'm going to still end up with a lot of people's info still, but it'll all be encrypted. So even if someone were to get access to the database somehow, it won't be easy for them to undo basically. I do have to think about some other things there, but yeah, let more experienced cloud folks handle it. Exactly. And also I think my plan is to not necessarily host the Postgres database myself. It is to let, probably hook it up to some service who was I looking at recently? Neon, Postgres. I was looking at Neon Serverless, which is they do a whole bunch of different stuff here, with databases, but I liked them. I started reading about it, started liking it. So I would probably work on work on integrating them to get my Postgres database there. And that way, again, it's all protected. I don't have to worry about hosting it, stuff like that. I'll obviously have to host my backend somewhere, so I'll probably have to host it on DigitalOcean and deal with all that security stuff, but that's okay. Gotta start somewhere. I think not having not also dealing with hosting the database itself will also be helpful. But yeah, so we're gonna try that and then worry about the server part, where to host the server part later. I am jumping really far ahead because like I barely have the server running. Like I have a Docker container. Hard enough to get a Docker container like going yesterday. But yeah. All right, let's hop back into Cursor though. Oh, that Notion page is gonna go up and down so often. We'll figure it out. All right. Boom. All right, so I need a new router group here. How do we, yeah. Okay, so we want to do a router group for all API calls. API equal, no. Let's go check the docs real quick. I want to make sure I'm doing this right. Router. So I'm using Hummingbird as my Swift server here. It's what I use at work, so I'm a little bit more familiar with it, to be honest, to do really everything else with. To use it as a like so yeah, it's what I'm more familiar with as like a backend server than anything else. Oh, sorry, I decided to change my screen resolution to make it easier for y'all to see and for me to put more stuff on screen, and so it makes it a little bit harder for me to figure out where to place things. But yeah, so we're using Hummingbird as my server side framework here. No other reason besides the fact that that's what I use for work. Where is... groups? Routes can be grouped together in a router group. This allows for you to prefix a series of routes with some path. Okay, but there is probably... So I think we can just do router.group API. What are we doing wrong here? Is unused. Let me make sure. So we can do .group. So we can add middleware, which we will do. So we're gonna also need to add middleware here. Let's go ahead and add that as a task in Notion. Basically just to authenticate routes at some point. Did I catch all the coffees with your coffee app? So I never actually finished the coffee app rewrite. Hence why I said if this app ever launches. So no, I did not. I just kind of let it be. I've been using the app Filtru to finish as my like coffee timer / bean tracker app, Filtru, and it's been great. It does the job, and it also does this thing where it reminds me like it's time to get a new bag of coffee, which is really cool. Like if I keep track of like how much I'm actually using every time I like make coffee, which is nice. Maybe I'll, if I ever go indie, I'll get back to the coffee app though, because I do think it still has a little bit of a unique way that like other apps don't. Ability to edit, authentication required for all API routes. I don't know when that'll be done, but not today, but at some point. I know I am really bad about starting projects and then completely abandoning them, and I need to be better about that in a lot of different areas, not just like the coffee app. It's why I can't do freelance anymore, honestly, because my brain goes all over the place, and it's a lot better if I just have like the work app to focus on And then I can do all the other fun things on the side. Okay, so no, I don't, because I don't do do I do the fancy brew stuff, like with the needles and the mat and the grinder and stuff like that. I do have like a grinder, but basically all I do is like pour over. All I do is like the pour over so that I can, it's all I need. Also, we don't have the space to do like espresso and stuff like that. Like, so I only do like the pour over stuff. But you can get really fancy with the pour over. I just do a classic, what is it? V60. Yeah, I just do one of these guys, classic like V60 pour overs, like this one specifically, where it's just like the nice little plastic thing. But yeah, that's all I do. I sometimes play with the thickness of the bean, like the grind, the fineness of the grind, and I play with the different types also, because like my wife sometimes likes a little bit more chocolatey. I like a little bit more fruity. So sometimes we go back and forth a lot between the different types. Sometimes they end up mixed, and that also turns into an interesting taste. So yeah. You stop telling yourself off for all the projects you start and don't finish in favor of just making sure you have fun. This is honestly like what I've gotten myself to right now, is like, I just want to make sure I have fun. That's all that matters. The coffee like app that I was rewriting, the current version, completely free. So if I just abandon it and don't ever update it again, it's fine. If iHog, on the other hand, has to continuously be updated, because I do charge a subscription fee for it. So if people are paying me, I can't just abandon it. I have to like keep updating it and make sure it works. So that's like where that stuff comes in. There is some type of like, you paid me for it, so I need to give you something for it type of deal going on there. Oh, you have an Nespresso. Nice. It tastes good, just not as it tastes good, just very convenient. It's not as good tasting. The Nespresso is not as good, but it is convenient. That's like the Keurig, right? Like the Keurig's not great food. I mean, not great coffee, but you know what? It's okay. It's convenient. Like, I don't make every cup of coffee via pour over, but like, I do use the, and then we do use the K-Cup, the Keurig, and we do have like a automated like coffee machine downstairs, like in the apartment lobby. But yeah, and when you're bored, you just rebrand the podcast back and forth. That's all right. Hey, the podcast rebrands. The number of I changed my website again. That's what I do when I'm bored. So like, I now have we have jwilson.zip is my current website. That one's so jwilson.zip. We have what else do I have? heyjwilson.com still. This one needs to like be phased out. I just haven't gotten all the content over because it takes a long time. I completely restructured it. This is like written by Astro, and this is done in 11D. So whenever I'm bored, I go and play with static site generators. But this was a fun site that it was a fun build with all the colors and stuff. And then of course I have my LLC's website. This is just written on Ghost, which needs to go away into something else. I was doing, where'd it go? I have one. Anyway, I was rewriting that in 11D and making it more basic and not worrying about like my content creation stuff in 11D, and I have it hosted on S3. I just need to finish. I need to finish that up and then like switch the DNSs over and get that switched so I can turn off my Ghost website, to be honest. Nespresso is the Vituo model, so it uses metal cups versus plastic, which is better. But which is better? Oh, so is the metal better than the plastic? There was one place that I used to use called what was it? K-cups, metal. Let's see if it comes up. No, it wasn't reusable coffee though. It was. Geez, hold on. I have it somewhere. I thought. Is it in my links? Oh, Commetier coffee. Oh. Oh, okay. My referral link doesn't work. That's what happened. I was about to be really sad. But they are all metal and they fit in the Keurig as well. And so you could recycle everything. And it's like a frozen puck of coffee, which is cool, like a frozen coffee concentrate. So you could also just like let it get to like room temperature also and let it melt and then get like iced coffee from it. It's pretty good. I liked it. It was expensive, but like it was also better like for the environment as well at the same time. Commetier coffee. I recommend it still. I just wasn't willing to keep paying the price for it. But it, like I said, it was cool. They always tasted good too. All right. So, well, I guess we'll call this, I mean, all I need is the group right here to add router.group, and then we can do I'm almost positive we can do like we need to make the controller and stuff. So we'll do a user budget transactions. Well, is the transaction? No. So like how I'm thinking that like the budget, I'm just trying to list out all the things that I need in here. Where'd this go? PocketBudget, entities. Okay, so we have a budget. So really the only two like entities that aren't dependent completely on a budget is a user. Everything else kind of lives at the budget level. I guess I can separate these out into accounts and pockets also, though. This is also an exercise because I've never written like a backend like this, so I'm trying to figure out like what the best practices are here as well at the same time. But we have the budget period. So we have the budget, which is just basically a table that's going to hold like budget metadata, so the name, created at, updated at, eventually share, who's it shared with, stuff like that. It's going to have a budget period, so like the month, the active month that you're currently budgeting in, which gets different pocket instances. That way we can have different like different amounts budgeted per pocket. This is called PocketBudget. So pockets are like what the categories are. Okay, so I think we can also make this be a little bit we'll do transaction, account, pocket. That should be enough to get by there. So this just creates the group for the API. I'm probably doing something wrong. Where did warp go? Add group for API. And then we can let me view, change my view here, add in a status. Done. All right, let's do the create a new user. This is also going to include creating a controller. Create a controller for user. And that user controller is going to handle like everything. Yeah. Yeah, that'll be fine. We'll start with create. So let's add a folder here called controllers. User controller.swift. If y'all see me looking off to the right a lot, it's because I am working through, it's because I'm looking at the docs. Maybe I was thinking of route collections. Anyway, I should probably go through and see exactly what I needed. I have a cheater bot on that screen, don't you? That's it. That's exactly it. No, I'm just having my like documentation over here so I can read without like, but that doesn't make sense if that's all I'm doing is looking at it. There we go. This is what I'm seeing. I actually have my AI bot over there to tell me exactly how to code this so that we can just vibe code the session. I like actually going through the example more than reading the docs. Developer duck. I don't use developer duck. I've heard good things of developer duck, but I haven't started using it. If I'm using anything for iOS and I'm doing like iOS work, I use the Alex AI for Xcode, which adds like a second like bar here, a second app that you just open next to Xcode, and you can go back and forth. Everything else I honestly just use Cursor for, and it's been all right. Pros and cons to Cursor, but this has been really great for like iOS specific because they do some stuff to the prompts to add in like specific Swift or iOS like calls, and you can only really add like Swift files and a couple different like iOS specific files. I am working on getting like a good workflow for Cursor for like custom projects, but that's taking a little bit longer than I wanted it to. All right, so we just need a struct with a controller. And we probably need to import Hummingbird, it looks like. There we go. But yeah, I'm a really big fan of Alex. It's a good little tool that I found. I could actually live without Alex just from a like Cursor technically does all the things that Alex does, but Alex just improves like I said the iOS side a little bit better. All right, so we know we need a router context here. So we're gonna do it by an endpoint. And it's going to return a route collection of with the app request context. And then we can return a route collection now that we have that, we can go back to here, .add routes collection. We can do the user controller .endpoints, and we can say we want it at a specific path, which is going to be users, right? So basically now we have the route API at the users route. Let's go ahead and inside the user controller, let's do a very basic call here. I just want to add .get uses get users sendable func get users. We want to do a request context request context. I just want to make sure this will work, right? I think we can just do a response. All right, so this is just making sure that the you get on the API endpoint is going to actually return the get users. So we can now do a Swift run. I think that's all I need. Let's see. It's gonna take forever to build and run this. Oh no, I didn't put all the things in that I needed to. No, please stop. Terminate. It helps whenever I put everything in that I need to run. But the port's already set. Log level shouldn't matter. What is it? Swift run app? What am I missing here? Validation failed for app command. Multiple option flag arguments are named -p. Oh. Well, we actually don't need that. Let me go into app arguments. And memory testing. I don't know why I was even dealing with that. Let's just do a quick Swift build to make sure things are running correctly. Yep, we were able to build it, which is great. So let's see if it'll do the rest. Is it not going to? Like, I don't think I'm running that much of an issue, like a lot of here. So let's do localhost 8080 / which will be the default. It is really taking its time. Jeez. And it won't cancel if we just trash it. Wow, that was a fun little time it took. Let's try again. It builds it, and then nothing happens afterwards. There should be plenty of space for this to do it. I have Docker running, it looks like. I mean, I don't need Docker running, though. Need that. That's just taking forever to get going. This is the part that I haven't had happen before, where it just won't build the app, or won't run the app. Let's see if AI will help here. Oh, you know what? I bet it's because it can't. Well, but it still would. The fact that it doesn't cancel either, though. So we should be able to. Host name's already given. Build application itself. Try app run.service. It's building. Let's make sure it builds here. Okay, so it looks like there's an error with the test type, app test type. Not that that should stop. Oh, it might. Let's try again. See. All right, this time it builds. We're using app, it's building, the debugging. Then go here, search app, 80, host name. I'm just crazy that like Swift, like it just won't build. Like I didn't think that it was that. It was building fine yesterday, so I'm sorry, y'all. Or whenever I last streamed, Wednesday maybe. But it seems like all Swift run is just not working right now. What? Hold on. So I'm having another like browser terminal try to run it. Like I'm just really shocked that this is what's happening. Let's see if we can get it to figure out what's going on for me. I guess I should have been more specific. Can you please check for yourself at package.swift, at app, application.build. I build the app, but successful build, but freezes after build complete. It's been a good chunk of time. But like it should. I don't think anything's running on localhost though. Like curl yeah, like nothing's running on localhost. Let's try running with in-memory testing. Maybe, I mean, that shouldn't matter though. Like, I don't understand why it's not. Maybe I did do something wrong with. It was working literally when I stopped the stream last time. Okay, so maybe I do need to run just the Docker. Okay, so how can I only run the Docker? So I only want to run the Docker database and use the Swift run to run the server without having to use Docker for the server. At Docker compose. I know this is possible. I always forget how to do it. Docker file, Docker compose. Up. Well, that should be fine. Cool. We'll run it here. Oh, I'm in the wrong app. Gosh darn it. Pocket base / cargo balance. Pocket budget, not pocket base. But that would be a good. There we go. Great. So Docker's running. It's ready. And then I should be able to do Swift run app. Because I think we're already running here. Hostname, great. Application and whatever. Oh, this is DB. So instead of DB, we can do localhost. Oh. Swift run app. Let's see what happens here. It's already running. It shouldn't be thing. Oh, I guess it is. Another instance is no executed but there app. So let's update the README. Aha! All right, everything's working. Everything can read. So I could do like curl localhost 8080. We get hello. So now I can do curl localhost 8080/API/users. We get nothing. But there is a GET request, like given from cursor. So we do know that happens. Let me add a, so we can just go see ourselves. So not cursor, but in my terminal, we can see that there is the request that comes through for API users. It's just a GET method. So let's do one real quick that does users 2, which should give me another request coming through. That doesn't mean that I still don't think that this has given me like proper confirmation that we have gotten this, like this API users is actually working, but at least we are able to see that the server itself is working. So let's go check that out. Sometimes I wonder like if I could possibly make it to where, I mean, I'm sure I can, but this would take a lot more work. Like I could put like a middleware, I guess like a middleware when I'm streaming and building, like for it to just pipe in the request to the chat, the responses to the chat, as like a way to get more interaction, I guess. I don't know. I'm just trying I'm saying different things. I mean, I think that would be cool. It would mess up, it would really blow up the chat though, but I think that would be kind of cool. That way you don't have to necessarily, I don't know, extend the space on the screen a little bit more. All right, so that's localhost, that's cool. API users. What if I just do that? You know what? I bet I can just do this. Swift run app. We'll just do it here. Jeez. Swift run app. All right, so we have a request there coming through, which is great. Let's duplicate this request here. Get all users. 404 not found. That's what I got here. All right, so I do get so whenever I do call the request, I get a 200 request here. Let's go see if I can actually adjust this a bit. No, this isn't. Oh, I'm in the wrong thing. That's where I want to go. Okay, and then we can probably do a body. That's wrong. What is the proper, like, I thought there was like a response. Let's go see what the docs say about a response body. I don't really response initializers. Okay. Cool. It just says it takes in a response body. That's super helpful. Cool. What can I do as a byte buffer now? I'm sure there's a way. String. Get all users. So now we should be able to run this again. Swift run app. We're gonna test this after this runs, and then I have to go. I don't think I'm gonna get my stand tower, but I will go try. Cool, and I get the text, get all users. All right, thanks compile. I appreciate you dropping by. I actually have to go and get my stand hour also, so I will BRB. Yeah, so just give me a moment. I'll be right back. Have fun. I'm back. Stand hour was super quick. I guess I got my heart rate went up enough or something happened enough to where it's fine. All right, let's hop this back on. I will probably do some standing soon. But we will see what happens there. Where were we? Back in cursor. All right. So database works, which is great. I mean, not database, but this route works, which is great. Yeah, I like to make sure that it always works. So that is awesome. Like the beginning of it, right? So this is going to return all the users. So let's go ahead and mark a to-do here. And this properly. Great. I guess we could just implement it now instead of implementing it properly. I do have users, so I guess this is going to be like an edited response. Of an array of I don't want it to be user necessarily. Let's do this. Instead of user, we need to actually return a, where did the Notion go? Notion. Boom, boom, boom. I have like this concept of a response user, which is just a display name created at, updated at, but I guess maybe I do want it to return a user. Because basically this like get all users is really just going to be implemented for me to use as a get all users, like whenever I am prototyping, or if I'm gonna make a like a dashboard or something like that for me to check, like I'm gonna need it. So let's do, oh, and you know what, something that we didn't actually put in here, I know that Revenue Cat is going to keep up with, like, I'm going to use Revenue Cat, like, let's be real here, as I just said that this was going to be a multi-platform, whatever it is, at some point, if I ever finish. We also need to keep up with a bar user, not user, level, user level, which we're going to keep it as a string, because it makes it easier to go back and forth, right? Actually, this isn't what I like either. Here, let's do user model. So this is what's stored in the database. This is what's going to be the level string. Level. But the string is going to go, instead of a level here, it'll be a user level. And then we need an enum. Oh, I see. Admin and user. Oh, crap. Well, then level, I mean, admin and user makes a lot more sense than, like, subscription level, I guess. This is where I like sometimes using, what's its butt? AI? Because then I can be like, hey, what to name database column to track users' subscription status. I think it's going to be, it'll either be not subscribed, so like at what level? I guess it can either be not subscribed, subscribed, trial, right? So we know if they're not subscribed or subscribed, or if they're in a trial. But I guess it's like, do we want, should I keep track of all the different subscription statuses? But like Revenue Cat's gonna keep track of that. So do I really need a separate one? This is like where I'm like, I don't know what necessarily would be the best thing to do here. Let's see. We'll just ask it point blank. We'll just actually, instead of using this, let's go into the actual, where to go? Here goes. Chat GPT, and let's just ask it some questions here. If I'm using Revenue Cat, is best practice to keep the user's subscription status in my own database? Short answer, yes. It's generally best practice to store the user's subscription status, even though I'm using Revenue Cat. Faster access in your backend. If you need to check if a user is active before serving something, historical record, you can keep your own logs of subscriptions, starts, renewals, expirations, etc. Custom behavior, if I want to do certain things. Well, but Revenue Cat does all those. Not all, I guess Revenue Cat doesn't, but I really don't like when it says, do you want me to show you what to do next? Stop asking what to do. Stop giving suggestions on what to do next. Um. Anyway, what? So what is the same user table then, or a separate subscription table? Subscription history table. I don't know. Again, this is my first time making a backend, so like I try to use ChatGPT to get this directly here. Okay, so we have a different subscriptions table to do this usually. Store subscription status in a separate subscription table, not directly in the user table. I guess that makes sense, but then I could always return as part of the response user like their current status, right? Yeah, to me that makes sense. ID, user ID, expiration date is active, is trial. Stop asking what I want to do next. This is actually what I don't like about AI the most, is when it asks me like what I want to do next in the same answer, because like I know what I want to do. I want to keep asking questions about this. Like I don't need it to do this. What do I let's track if the user expires and then resubs. When a user expires and then resubs, you can create a new subscription record. Optionally, some systems do update the same row if the user restores the same subscription immediately. Honestly, ChatGPT sucks. Switch to something like Quinn or Kimi. I haven't heard of these, or at least for Sonnet. Sonnet is what? Sonnet AI. Is that Claude? I've used Claude. Okay, yeah, I usually use Claude when I'm doing more like, I use Claude a lot whenever I was planning out this project, actually. Also, welcome to the chat about sorry, my pronunciations are really wrong. I'm really sorry. I just butchered your name. My bad. I actually do use Claude quite a bit. Just call you Lee. Okay, thank you. I appreciate it, Lee. I'm so sorry about that. Yeah, I use this for whenever I'm doing like actual coding work, or if I want to, what is it? Or whenever I'm like reasoning about a project. ChatGPT has been great for giving me like back and forth. I like it because of the image generation though, but I will look into some of these other like chats that you've mentioned at some point. I haven't liked any of the new ChatGPT stuff where they like the personality is just way too high for me. It's been a lot annoying to me. Not even a little bit annoying, like a lot annoying. Okay, so that makes sense. Which stays the same for the life of a subscription across renewal, new and stuff. Give Kimi or Quinn a shot, even though they're Chinese, they still rock. Oh, I'm sure they're still great at coding. Yeah, I will give it a try. I'll need to look into their like privacy and stuff, all that jazz, but I will give it a try. Yes, I will definitely give them a try. Again, maybe not on this stream, but like try it out sideways. I like to know what I'm doing exactly with some tools at least. Okay, so if I have, so this will be just like subscription history, I guess, and then user relates to subscription history. So then if I wanted to get the latest subscription, purchase date, expiration date is active. So I guess I would just Ugh. Okay, so we also need a subscription history. We'll keep admin and user. I don't know if I necessarily need those, but I guess I could then create my own admin for myself and be able to do things if I decide to do a dashboard. That seems doable. So let's actually leave a note here. So determines what actions the user can perform. So instead of, yeah, and this will just be admin can view and edit. Well, if I'm not gonna have actually any access to the, oh, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it, Lee. If I'm not gonna actually have any access to the data, I don't actually need user level. So again, like my idea is that I don't get any access to the user, to the data, the I don't have the ability to see the user's data in this app, is what I'm going to try to build this at whenever it's actually time to launch. But I will have access to see like user and subscription history basically at this point. Yeah, this is what's sent to the client. So this is still more than what I need to be sent to the client, I believe. So let's do new file, response, user.swift. I still think I need user.swift like it is because that maps one-to-one with the model. But let's do Hummingbird. What do I need from the response though? Data. I need here. We really just need the display name. I also do need the ID. Because since the ID is made on the server, I need the ID, display name. I don't need the auth provider ID, at least not right now. And the created at and updated at date. Import foundation also. And instead of Codable, Hummingbird, which is the server-side Swift platform that I'm using, has a specific, I think it's response codable that it's called. Let me make sure I'm doing that right. Yes, response, encodable, decodable, and equatable. So we'll do response codable and what identify equatable. Sure. I don't think I need all of them, but that's fine. So then inside the controller, where'd it go? There it goes. So this would be like a response user is what I actually want to send. And we should do other things here. Add routes. I just want to see how they do it here. Great. Where is the list function? Oh, they just send the array. I guess I could just send the array. So instead of doing an edited response with the array, we could just do response user. Do we want to conform to the repository already? Yeah, why not? So we are doing a repository architecture on here, or I'm doing a repository architecture on here. So we need to, so we have a repository type coming in. So let's do let repository, and this will be a user repository. And my user repository doesn't currently have anything in it really. It's just a blank protocol right now. So let's do func get all users. And instead of user model, it's going to be the response user. Returns all users. This should only be used for admin and dev purposes. Then it's going to get upset because these don't follow anything. Let's just, instead of doing that, return, let's just throw, or fatal error. Not implemented. This is my favorite thing to do, is to throw a fatal error if I haven't implemented something, because then if I try to call it later, I get, the app just crashes. Like, so I just need to implement it. Hashtag function. And let's do also file. Yeah, so like I said, my favorite thing is instead of leaving like little to-dos all over the place, so like I could just do to-do, implement function, implement this, and then, you know, just return the empty array. But what I would rather do, so I could do this, to do, implement this, return the empty array. What I'd rather do is just fatal error. So when I actually call it, or I end up like testing and I call it, then it actually just crashes and I don't overlook the fact that it hasn't been implemented yet. I don't need to add documentation because I have that through the other thing, through the protocol. Instead of struct here, let's put a class. I don't know. Oh yeah, user memory repository, that's fine. Cool, not implemented, that's fine. Let's do private var users. Here though, we will do this. Users, because this is easy enough to do. I don't know if I actually want it to be a response user yet, but we will let that be. We will to do this though. Convert from user model to response user. Cool. Sweet. So yeah, this will just return that. I obviously don't have any mocks right now to do this, but that's fine. But the user model is fine there. I guess that's gonna break then, huh? When I run it, try to run it, that's fine. Then we can do return users. Great. I think that should be what's needed. Oh. Cannot be @marked sendable because it does not conform to the user sendable, does not conform to the sendable thing. Okay. What's the deal here then? Wait, what doesn't conform to sendable? Is that what needs to conform to sendable, or does to my... I bet it's just my response user needs to conform to sendable. Nope, still doesn't. What am I doing wrong here? The sendable is a tricky beast sometimes. So instead of actor, instead of struct, let's make this an actor. So that async is done a little bit better. Has no initializer, so let's do init. Oh, okay. So sorry, I'm looking at like documentation from Hummingbird also. So to also solve the sendable thing, let's, instead of protocol user repository, let's also make this conform to sendable. Because if this conforms to sendable, then our controller should be fine. Yeah. And technically conforms to sendable because it, not conform to sendable, yeah, because it's taking in a repository type, a user repository type at least. Okay, let's go ahead and make that subscription history thing. Because I also like the idea of doing it myself here. ID, user ID, product ID. Provides all needed info with this, with the purchase date, expiration date. Okay, so let's go ahead and make a subscription. Well, that seems like way something to do later. Let's add this as a task. Add subscription table. Backend. Copy that. I'm gonna put it in my Notion doc here, just so that we can see how it is, see what's going on here. I guess, like, why am I keeping track of the status when that can be calculated? Oh, I guess this is supposed to be like a state and time. Okay, I guess that makes sense. I don't have to store status because I can calculate it, but also, like, ChatGPT said to keep it, it's usually kept because your webhook still, like, when a webhook runs, it can still get updated, so I guess that makes sense. I guess something I do need to keep on the user is probably a revenue cat ID. Well, I could pass the revenue cat ID, the user ID into revenue cat, so I guess that's fine. Okay. Anyway, that's added as a task to do later. Back to actually creating a new user. So we have these models. I can delete this for right now. User, new file, new user.swift. I'm not going to be shy of creating brand new files for basically brand new types for everything. I actually watched this really cool YouTube video. Where'd it go? Let's do, there it is. I watched this neat YouTube video by like one of the devs at American Express at a conference. It was called Type-Driven Design in Swift. So instead of a bunch of logic being decided via like if else, it's actually like your validation logic, it's actually decided on based on the types you have in your code. So like the talk talks about deciding, like, doing a sign-in page, and you're only able to actually sign in if you have the email and password type. And they have very different, there's like an email type, there's a password type, and you can only validate those going forward. So it's like compiler driven, like type checking also, like checking your requirements. So I don't want to be like, I want to have the ability to do that. I don't want to be stingy with like all the types I make. I'm just going to keep making types because that also helps the compiler from time to time. Here's a link to that chat, into that conference talk, and then also a blog post about something similar but in Rust type states as well. I haven't completely read through the blog post yet, but it's on my, like, it's opened, obviously. I want to read about it. and learn more about that as well at the same time. So I just want to put that there too for y'all. But I really liked this talk. It's like an hour long, but it has a lot of really good stuff in it. Anyway, that was something that I wanted to make sure we had here, or I handed out. So yeah, I'm not gonna be stingy with my types because I like the idea of it. Import foundation. I really don't think, I mean, all this new user is gonna be is a display name string. And then an auth provider. And the auth provider ID. Yeah, so we have the auth provider. So this is thinking like clerk, which is what I'm going to use here. Clerk.dev. You can find more info there. And then like the auth provider ID. So generally when you make a user, it gives you some type of auth provider. So, I mean, it gives you some type of identification. So that's just so I can link this user with the auth provider. I, again, don't want to deal with accounts. So like handling people's emails, passwords, sign in via Apple, Google, all that jazz. Plenty of people have done that hard work for me. So we're going to let them continue to do that hard work. And Clerk has a really good, has a decent free trial area as well, free user area as well. All right, so auth provider used by developer, by the dev. Auth provider used, auth provider, user ID created by the auth provider. So right now, the only option is clerk. We can eventually switch out auth providers. This might be a little like high level optimization here to think that I'm ever going to switch auth providers. Like I probably will never switch auth providers, but in case I need to, it's here. Cool. So we have that new user. New user, sorry, request body for creating a new user. So this is what the app or any API is going to call. This is going to be the body for that. Notice that there's no ID here. There's literally no ID because there doesn't need to be. The server is going to create the ID, so that's definitely all unique and such as well. So we can do that. So let's create a new route on the user controller at this point. At sendable, create user. And then we will do a repository. Yeah. Create a user with the new user given. So let's go to the repository protocol. Instead of passing in a new user, we're going to make it a no label, so I can just say create user, new user given. Well, it just looks better in my opinion. And now we just need to implement it, right? Can I do an actor here also? Cool. Let's go ahead and make this a user model. I know I should be worried about my database. We'll go do that in a moment. And in response user, let's make a new init here. So we have the proper init, right? That takes in the ID, display name, created at, updated at, whatever. But we also need a new init. User model. So this is a string. We're gonna take the string and make an ISO 48, an ISO 60. What is that type specifically that I'm looking for? There's like a date format. ISO. That's the good one. 8601. That's what I was looking at for. Where it's year, month, date, time, all that jazz. So let's do a date formatter, right? That's what we need here. So date formatters are really expensive in Swift to keep making over and over again. So I'm gonna make a utilities folder and put one there. Utilities, and use like a shared one there. Whoops, date formatter dot Swift. It's not concurrency safe because it's mutable. But is it mutable? I don't. Well, let's see what this has to say about it. But doesn't this make a new one over and over every time I call it? I don't want to do that. I want the same instance each time. This formatter won't change. I guess that's fine. It ensures only one instance existed. Okay, cool. Let's just do it. I didn't know you could do this, actually. ISO 8601. What's that? Great. Does this date formatter work in Swift Linux? It's available as the foundation library. Availability. Hey, Helix. How's it going? What's up? Thank you for the follow. Thanks. I appreciate it. Welcome in. We can do some lasers for some fun follow. Sorry, Lee, for not doing the lasers earlier. I forgot I had them. I should figure out how to do the lasers everywhere. I guess maybe when I get a follow, I can switch and then do lasers or something. Anyway. But if you rely on specific formatting options, test your code on Linux for compatibility. Okay, cool. We need more. We do need more. I mean, yeah, more coding channels are always great. Always need more. We have a lot of them, it feels like, in, it feels like we have a lot in, Swift also, because we have Cocoa type. Let's see if this will work. No. Slash shout out Cocoa type. Hey, that's his name, right? Oh, believe me, let me go through a list. Yeah. We also have Nutterfy. Slash shout out. Oops, can't. You gotta spell shout out, right? Shout out compile Swift also, or compile dev. Oh, I can't. I'm giving too many shout outs in a row. Anyway, Nutterfy, compile dev. Those 3 and Cocoa Type are like my main go-tos for like Swift programming. Definitely worth the follow. Couple minutes, I'll shout out the others, but yes, definitely worth the follow there. I love watching it, putting on a coding stream while I'm working also. And it also helps me learn what I'm doing. So now we have, ooh, but these aren't, my issues, I don't want to do them asynchronously there. No, that seems wrong to you. That seems even more wrong. To do it this way. As uncheckable. If you need true concurrency safety, use a queue, use an actor. If you want programmatic simple solution, whatever. If you want a static instance and are sure you control all access, you can keep the original code. Well, I don't know if it's going to be on the main actor, I guess. Whatever. I'm thinking too much into it. Forget it. Let's just delete this. Move to trash. And we'll just do it in here. So let ISO 8601 equals date formatter, right? Date from, but this is now optional. Date, which I guess is not really following the date, the type. It's fine. We should always find a created at and updated at date anyway. And it should always be an 8601 format. That's fine. I'm going to say it's fine for right now. When we go into repositories, users, create a user. We're going to take in the new user. Let user equals user model. ID, all this fun stuff. So let date formatter equals ISO 8601 formatter. Let created at equals date format string and let updated at same thing. So we have these two date, let now equals date. We're going to use a lot of this back in the repository also. Here, map, this is actually what I was using. Rumbling 0 from, there we go. Okay, so then here, sorry, I'm all over the place. And the reason I was doing this init for the user model, for the new user, for the response user from the user model, so I can get these in, was from the, was so that I could do inside the repository, like this map from the user model, which is what comes from the actual, what is being stored in the actual database, map from there into that response user with just like the general init. Now these should be the same, but I always like using the same like timestamp date basically. Updated at, created at, self.user append user, so it gets added there. And then we have the user just returned from there. So now inside here, we need to actually deal with Postgres Neo, which I haven't done a lot of like raw Postgres before. inserting data. So I already have a table. So it looks like all I need to do is insert products with values, with the values. So I need to do another try await query. So we know we're gonna do quote, quote, oops. Quote, 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 quote. So another reason for me doing it like this, I've not really used Postgres, like I said, by itself before a lot. I've mainly used, if I interact with Postgres or any kind of SQL database, I'm using like a Fluent, which is ORM. So I can interact with it with some like with like niceties. So like I don't have to write the raw SQL and stuff myself. Or in iOS apps, I've been using like Core Data, which itself is like a SQLite wrapper, basically, on a very, very high level. And same with Swift Data. So I'm using this as an opportunity to also learn these things, which I haven't had before either. We do need to keep the logger in, I believe. Alright, so let's do now insert into users. I don't like that this, I'm going to be repeating this a lot. So like, I guess my question is, do I have like a separate enum, like in, like I do have, I bring back the folder utilities, right? New file. Constants, or tables. Let's call this database helpers. I don't know what else to name it, better name it yet. Table dot Swift. Table names in the database. So we have users this way then. Table dot users, so I think I should be able to call then, instead of users here, table.users, and we'll do table.users here, right? And then we need to say values. And then can I... Well, hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to... So values... So I need to create a brand new UUID here. Well, it looks like it should default into making a new UUID. But like this is wrong because new user doesn't have an ID. What's up? You want out? Hold on, sorry, one sec. I think. All right. I need to take a break real quick, get my stand hour, and we're gonna come back and we're gonna figure out what to do about the ID, the default ID situation. Again, this is just me learning Postgres. I need to also get my stand hour, and the dog needs to be outside. So just give me a moment, and I'll be back. I keep it cracked? Are you coming? Thorgy, come on. Let's go. Thorgy, come here. No, he doesn't want to. Can I keep it cracked, or do you... Yeah, occasionally the stream, the chair does get to stream. Very, very occasionally. I need to move around. I get antsy. I got my Sandower. I got Spindrift. Whoops. The best sparkling water that I can find at Costco. And now we're gonna get back. Alright, I don't feel like wearing my headphones. I'm trying. I gotta get better at doing all this. At getting I gotta get better at that part. At getting my rings closed again. Okay, so if I have a default value in Postgres, do I, how do I specify that? For my first column, if you look my create table, how do I specify that in my SQL command in get all users? Let's see. So you emit ID in the column list and value. So how to write the insert statement. You should explicitly list the columns you want to insert values for. Omitting ID since it has a default. So then I feel weird. Not weird. It feels like it's wrong to pass them in like that because I just want to do the raw SQL without the values. So I guess all it's telling me is do new user dot display name. Is that the next one? Yeah. I guess a little crowded. We can make that go away. Just so I can keep the table in the right order. Oops. I should have done this. Auth provider ID, and then instead of that, we're gonna do created at. Oops. Oh, okay, hold on. So then let created at, so let now equals date. So get the current date. Let formatted, date formatter, let string, let timestamp string. I wonder if I can make on the repository, we can do a extension here, func get timestamp. Nutter and Coco say hi from Deep Dish. Hey y'all, what's up? How's it feel to be with all the cool kids? Welcome, welcome. I hope y'all are gonna go get some good pizza tonight and have a good time with everyone. Okay, so we'll do the formatter now, date, get the string, return that string. We could probably make this just a computed variable, but it's fine. Nutter better have Spider-Man glasses on. You know, that would be one. If that happens, we need to have a there should be a post in the, we need to see a photo in the Discord for proof that it happened. So instead of created at here, timestamp string, oops. There we go. So I think that's all it takes. And I can get rid of this. So I think that's going to insert that into the tables with the new, and that, with the timestamp strings. And from what I understood, we could just omit, we could omit the first value of the ID since there is the random ID here, which is going to give me a UUID anyway. And then now I need a response user. Do I need a response user? Why am I returning a response user? I guess that's all I really need is the response user. I don't need to return like a new user model. So the response user is the ID display name. So from the user model, we have that. So we need to get this. So this queries that, and it returns a Postgres row sequence, right? So it already returns this row sequence. So we need to get that sequence. Let result equals try. So now we need to get to do convert result to user model, and then user model to response user. Let me just made user equals equals. Is that all I need to do for Postgres? Add Neo. Where'd the data info go? I had opened it. Here it goes. Postgres Neo. Let's get to the docs. By leveraging prepared statements. Interesting. Okay. I don't think I really need this, to be honest. That it doesn't make as much sense right now. But I want client. Okay, so query runs a query server that the database is connected to. That creates a query. What is a Postgres query? Is that just the raw SQL string and bindings? Okay, because the string itself says what to do. And the Postgres row sequence, an AC sequence of Postgres row. Please note that random access calls have O and N capacity. Adopting the new Postgres row cell API. Okay, so use the subscript API to receive a Postgres cell. And then TLDR. I like that you get a TLDR on here. Let's move it around. All right, so we have the sequence. We need a row at ID, name, email, age, overview, and that would do it. And then we decode with the type. Okay. Can you just, I guess you can't just decode directly into the type. So we already have the row, right? Result dot row in. So let created users equal. So in theory, though, this is just going to be like the one row, right? Is that what I understood here too? Yeah. Well, this is Postgres random access row. Why? Transform. Is it transform? No. Let's try it. Postgres random access row. Bling 0? Is that right? Yeah. Dot map. Do I need another dot map? No. For that, in rows, dot maps, that does rows, for row in. So this should be bling 0 dot, what is it? Bling 0 at, okay, so I see, I can't exactly do this. Okay, let's try this a different way. So like the example here, it says to iterate through the rows.map, convert it to this Postgres random access row, and then we can subscript it out. Okay. So let's do for row in result dot map. Var created users. It should always equal 1 though. So like that's fine though. So now let's do let ID equals. Let's move this over so I can stop going back and forth the whole time. Let ID equals try row dot try row at ID dot decode UUID dot self. Async sequence doesn't map, does not conform to sequence. I don't. What do you mean map does not conform to sequence? Like it's just. Overloads produce results. Produce a result type that conforms to sequence. It's a Postgres row sequence, I thought here. What does Hummingbird do? I switched to Postgres Neo so I could follow what Hummingbird does. So let's see. Request lit. Where's their like create? I hear Thorgy going off in the background. Okay, so where's the like Postgres? I use Postgres Neo. That's what I was looking for. There, in-memory testing. Okay. I guess I could have done all this without Postgres first to make sure I get everything right, but where's the fun in that? if I don't overcomplicate it from the beginning. All right, so create, try await query, and then just returns a to-do. Okay, so they don't use, the Hummingbird example doesn't actually use the new ID, the new anything from the created like response. It literally just uses the values that were already given, which I don't necessarily like at the same time. Because it feels like I should be using the values that were made from the, like, I created the item in Postgres, and then once what it returns, like when I insert it, is what I should use, right? Let's see what ChatGPT says to do. I don't understand how it says, or if result is not directly iterable. Like, it can see what I have, doesn't it? Oh, am I not returning what I need to return? This could just be me not knowing. Insert into. And then what we do, returning. Right? Maybe. Map. Iterate directly over the result. So let's just do let rows equals result dot map, that part. Right, so now we have an async map sequence. Well, now that's an async map sequence. How do I get this to just using parameterized queries and returning asterisk is for best results. I don't want to use parameterized queries right now. Iterate directly over the result. So what, can I do this? So I can't. No, I can't. This is where I get like frustrated, where it's like, oh, but you can. And I'm like, but I cannot. I already have it imported. I told you, it's an async sequence. And am using the latest version of Postgres. You know, see, this is where like, this is where like it gets really tricky to use AI, because if you're trying to do something that it's not familiar with, it is just like, no, you're wrong. And I'm like, but I'm not wrong. Like, I was reading the docs. This still doesn't let me like iterate over result, but I still don't think this is gonna work. I cannot convert value of type string to expected argument type. Post row. Okay, so this is a Postgres row. Now we're good. Okay. So I needed this for try await. It looked like... Oops, I don't need that though. Guardlet created user first, else. I mean... Throw... This doesn't seem right. Error dot bad gateway? No. Not acceptable. Sure. It's literally right there. Okay, great. That's fine. Let display name. Okay, but append user, that should. Oh, but we don't need that. So we could, I guess, go from, instead of a user model, we could just do response user. Created user is already a response user. And then just do created user. And instead of this, let's do response user. And then let's convert these created at and updated at dates. So let formatter that created at, updated at. I really should just fail this. Guardlet. Else, just continue to the next one. But let's do logger dot error failed to parse date for a newly created user with ID. The ID. Great. I love using emojis in my logs. It makes it really nice to go and just quickly see the errors. All right. So we have that. Created user dot append the user. So we can keep adding to them, right? Users equals that. And then we can just return the created user here. The first one. Because there should only be one. We're only creating one user. So in theory, there should only be one user coming back. At least that's my understanding. I could be totally wrong. I've never done this before, y'all. I also really want to change these to be like enums. So like instead of like I have this like table, I would probably have the same thing for like columns also, but we'll see. That is over engineering for right now when I don't even know if this is gonna work. No, stop. Try await. Create new user, return user. All right, so that should be what I need, I think. Let's see what's here. Self.users.map, user model. Oh, let's just do pass in user model here. Equals users. What else? Oh. You're right, I am. There we go. Repository, user repository. There we go. Can I just pass in user repository then? No, it's upset. What's it upset about? Repository. Okay, and then great. It looks like we are good there, so let's close this, run it again. We need the table plus open. Switch here. We have users, we have a table. Oh no, it failed. String conflict. Generic description to prevent accidental leakage of sensitive data. For debugging details, use string reflect error. But what? Why? What is the issue? Where did that come from? I don't even know. And F before server starts, create table. Okay, do catch. And then we'll also print failed to create table error. Thorgy, you can't open the door that far. I'm sorry. Let's see. Alright, so it built. Let's try again. Oh my god. Literally the same thing. Failed to create table. Well, it already has the table, so it's gonna fail to create the table. Okay, well that's fine. Let's do a create user here. Create user / localhost 8080 / API users. Oh, you know what I didn't do? Haha, post. You know the body needs to be a JSON. I need a display name. Is that all I need to provide? No. I also need a auth provider, which is going to be rapid, and then auth provider ID. We'll just keep it as a. And I never actually joined this. I bet this error is going to be a cool. We don't need the logger. The logger's working fine. We don't need the print statement. Where'd it go? String reflecting error. I bet this is gonna be the table's already been created. We don't need to do it again. Type error, which is fine. It has been. Let me make sure. Display name, auth provider ID. Great. Close it. Something I realized that we didn't do was in the user controller, we didn't actually add the endpoint to make the user. So that is lame. And we're gonna try again. So it's definitely not going to work if I don't run the endpoint, if I don't write the endpoint. So there's a create user. I did not have that part the last time I ran. Failed to create table near bling 1. I don't actually know what this error means, believe it or not. You're trying to use a binding parameter bling1 for a table name in your create table. Oh. But oh, I see. So I can't actually do, but that's what it does. Isn't it? Repository, wrong one. User Postgres repository, close. If not exists, table user. So maybe I can't do that. This is the code that's running. Can I not do this interpolation thing? Is like Swift doing something weird? Not weird, but something I don't expect, which is probably the case. Delete. Move to trash. Let's try again. I'm just gonna build the whole thing, which is fine. I want it to. And if this doesn't work, I will redo it. I mean, I will put users back in, but I was hoping it would just work, because to me that makes sense for working, but if it doesn't work this way, because that's not how Postgres Neo works, then I will take it away. Swift value in Postgres Neo for table. Yeah, it's still the same thing. I'm still getting the same. Maybe I can't do string interpolation. Is that the right name? I don't know, interpolation. In the latest version of Postgres Neo. I mean, I don't know what to say. Like, can you not check yourself? Fine, I gave you all the errors. Sometimes I get frustrated and I'm like, please be smarter. Like, Jesus Christ. Like, there is no reason for me to go back and forth like this. Like, please be smarter. I don't do that. Look at my code. Alright, so I'm gonna say that I can't do this right now. Let's just... This seems wrong that I can't do that, but it also seems weird. I don't know. I'm getting frustrated at AI for being wrong. Alright, so this is good to know that I have actually only done the one. I'm still working in the second task to get done today, and I am gonna end in about 30 minutes. I need this to finish building though. Great. Why did you tell me I could do it then? This is what I don't understand. Ugh, whatever. Okay. Creating a user. I got a failure. There was a 500 internal failure of some kind. Why? I don't know because no other error was given. Where did user controller go? Create user. We need the user Postgres repository. I wasn't in parsing date. I must have been in here. Let's do failed to find user in result. Let's also do this. Result in created users. And after this, let's do logger.debug. I just want to know if it's empty. And then inside the do app build, instead of looking for, what does this do again? App. If no level build application logger get flat map or .info. I think I could do debug. And loggers, log level. A change in log level will only affect this very logger. No, I think that's fine. I think I can keep it without info. I think I'm trying to be too smart. That's fine. Continue building, please. Okay. Let's try again. My camera died over there. That's fine. Alright, so we're reading. None of this got printed or used or whatever. Which is great. Love it. Love it. If let user repository. We pass in the proper logger here, right? Yes. Go into, please take me into the actor. Is it this part that's failing? Probably. I'm probably doing something wrong here inside my Postgres. Oh, and then I have to put everything inside my do block, which is fun. Okay. I need to get Swift format set up in here also. I can do that not on stream. Try it again. Let's run it. And I bet it is going to be something in here. That's my issue with this Postgres issue. Yep. Failed to create user with this error. You'll need to rewrite or cast the expression. Column ID is of type UUID, but the expression is of type text. Position 29 routine. Long severity error. So, yeah, it didn't do what I wanted it to. So, like, how do I just skip like the first position? So it looks like I'm not doing something right in Postgres. So how to write a Postgres query to insert a row with a default value. Okay, so insert into did do. It's handy when you have computer generated code. It makes life whatever. You do not need to specify a field if you want its default value being saved. So I need to, it looks like, call the table name and then the column name and in parentheses. Column 1 value. Okay, yes. So I didn't. All right, so I think that is better. Now, let's try again. So insert into users, I have to specify the columns and then the values. If I use the bling 1, bling 2, like the $1, $2, I bet that allows me to bypass putting these in, but I could be wrong there too. I don't know. Let's see if I can get this. Haha! There's still an error. There's an error of some kind, but I got back 200 okay. Wait. Did I even make an error? Hold on. Oh, this is the result. So I just the info of the result. So if I go here, so this is like the app that I'm using, my Table Plus app that I'm using for making the database. Command R. Sweet. Here's a new user, new ID, auth provider ID, which actually, remember when I said that those auth providers were only ever going to be user model. They were either going to be clerk. Wow, where did this go? Where did I do that? Anyway, how I said auth provider was only going to be clerk. Well, that's wrong. Is it new user? Yeah. It should be anonymous also. I guess we can do, yeah, anonymous. So I'm going to keep anonymous as the auth provider because when you first I want to be able to let users, when they first create get into the app, to be able to be an anonymous user and not have to sign in necessarily, like sign in with Apple or something like that, if they don't want to. That might be an extra hurdle, but that's fine. Cool. So we have anonymous, new user. It looks like it works here also. Like we have it here, which is great. So I could do this again. Let's change it to B. Send a new one. And we have another new user, which is awesome. This is what I wanted. So we can say that we can create a user. I guess I should be writing tests for this also. I feel like writing tests at this point is a little not redundant. It's necessary, but I don't necessarily want to do it right now, at least not on stream. I only have 20 minutes left. Actually, do I want to do testing? If I want this to be right, I should probably do testing. I was reading a book that CocoaType and Compile Dev talked about on, and Compile talked about on the Compile Dev podcast. What was it called? Refactoring? What's it called? Hold on. Where's my books? It is called, that is Swift Data, working effectively with legacy code. And they were talking about how when you the only way to write decent code is you're basically writing legacy code if you don't have tests, and it's bad code if you don't have tests, because you don't know if you change something, is it going to work or not, the same. So should I be writing a test? Probably. Do I even have tests really set up? Not necessarily. They don't really work how they should right now. I don't think these work. Hold on. I don't really need it to work with SweetPad. Let's see. I'm just curious if they will work. Oh, they do work now. Sweet. Do I want to continue though? Do I want to? I probably should. I could just do repository tests. Well, will that actually even work if I do repository tests? Don't do anything actually for me necessarily. I don't know. I'll have to think about if I want to do tests or not. This was a really long time. I think I do want to do tests. I don't think I'm gonna write them on stream. Let's see if we can do the delete though out of here, because I would say, oh, I didn't do the other requests. Let's fix in the user controller. Well, I'll never have a conflicting value, I think. And I think if the body is wrong, it'll already return a 400. So let me make sure, because part of the requirements of getting this passing was you get the correct display, is that we get a 400 bad request if the request body is invalid, or a 500 internal server if there's expected failures, for unexpected failures, which we saw already happen with the Postgres thing. Let me try making sure this fails correctly. So let's say I don't provide an auth provider. That still worked. Is it because it was just sent as an empty string? Yeah, probably. So if I take it out, that should fail. Yeah, so taking out an auth provider actually caused, so I'm using Rapid API here. Taking out the auth provider caused the 400 bad requests, so that's already done also, which is nice. So if I bring it back, see, 200, great. I should probably actually make the auth provider ID unique. Well, the auth provider and auth provider ID has to be unique, assuming that the auth provider can generate the exact same IDs. So let's go deal with that real quick. Auth provider ID and auth provider plus auth provider ID must be unique. Is that a constraint I can actually do in Postgres? Like, is that something that Postgres gives me the ability to make 2 columns unique? Like, I know I can make 1 column unique. Like, I can say, hey, the IDs must be unique, or like the display names must be unique, which I don't really care if the display names are unique. Like, that doesn't necessarily matter. Sure, uniqueness for 2 columns in Postgres. Let's see what the internet says to do. Allows you to create unique constraint to a group of columns. Oh, so I can, in here, unique provider ID and auth provider. That's cool. I'm guessing that'll return a 500 error though, instead of a different type of error, but let's try. Where did my terminal go? Great, we're here. Swift run app. I probably, hold on, need to delete the table if I had to guess. And now we can run it again. I'm just assuming because it's updating the table, I would have to delete the table at this point. Don't know if that's actually right. That's just what I assume is right. We've got it. Refresh. We have users here. Cool. So I'm going to send this user, new user, rapid. The ID. Whoops. Can I not? Okay. That's whatever it is. The auth provider ID. Provider. Great. So here it is. ID, display name, auth provider. Created at, updated at. We can see that this is here too, like fully. All right. If I try again, I get a 500 internal server error. But can I fail to create auth provider ID? The key is already there. So I need to throw a different error. I need to catch the error for this, though. How can I catch this type of specific error in? So I can throw a, anyway. You can catch a unique constraint violation. How? As Postgres error if error code. Oh, okay, so catch, let, whoops, error as Postgres error. And then we'll catch failed to create user. Error privacy is public. Oh, do we not do that here? Okay, well, that's how it works in Swift logging. That's fine. Okay, and then here, as supposed to learn, if error dot code equals dot unique. Oh, that's cool. Okay. Error user failed to create user due to, well, I know the unique so I failed to create user due to same auth provider ID and auth provider. Throw HTTP error dot not acceptable. Is that it? Is there not just one bad request? Yeah. Great. So that should be fine then. I don't know if I actually want to throw I guess I do want to throw HTTP errors here. Is that bad form to throw HTTP errors here? Probably not. It's probably fine. All right, let's try again. I just want to see if this worked real quick. If this is going to throw the error that I think it's going to throw. It still is the same error. It looks like it didn't grab the unique violation, even though it should have. So like, oh, it's fine. I did another error in info here. Okay, so if error code there, then we can do failed to create user. See, this still says failed to give generic. No. But somehow it still didn't get caught. Not somehow. I'm guessing it doesn't actually throw an error. How can I get the type of the error, though, that it's going to throw? Are you sure it's throwing a Postgres error? Let's try again. So it's just PSQL error. PSQL error, but this is. What is it? Unique. Equals equal. Okay, so then we can also do string reflecting error to get this actual error code. Dot But no, this isn't it either. Like these errors don't look right. Query cancel too many parameters. Like I don't even know. Let's just server probably, but let's just call this. I bet it's just gonna fall to here now that I have that. I know why it has to do as. Let error as that. Oh, that's the thing that. Okay. Anyway, cursor was adding that type in. And I was like, why? Code is server. Server info. Unique key constraint, key value constraint. That's not okay, but SQL state. Okay. What is this doing? Error.server info. Server info has a public internal set. So this info was received from the server. What is a server info type? Field. State. Code. So it should just be .sql state. Let SQL state equals error dot server info dot SQL state at dot code. That's probably how it needs to be. Okay, so let's undo all of this because I think I figured it out. Yeah, so at dot SQL state question mark as string. That looks better. if SQL state equals 2305. Duplicate user. User exists in database with same auth provider and auth ID and auth provider. Yeah, that looks right. All right, let's try again. I mean, the worst that happens is this doesn't work again. The best that happens is that it works, and then I can sign off. And I think I've learned a lot. I know, you also have to go to the bathroom. I know, and you're gonna go on another walk. Because I need more stats. Alright, let's try again and send a new one. Alright, user exists in the database with the same auth provider and auth provider ID. And I get a 400 bad request. Alright, this is great. This is awesome. This is where we ended up. This isn't exactly what I wanted to get done, all I wanted to get done today, but it is great. So let's go ahead and get this committed though. Discard. We're gonna definitely add the routes, and we'll add everything we did today. And let's do that and see what comes up in the git commits. Implement user management with CRUD operations. Yeah, sure. Looks fine. Okay. All right. So for me, that means here in these tasks, what did we get done today? All right, so we have the ability to create a new user. That is done, and that is all we got done. And so I'm gonna try to finish these. I'm gonna also add a task to do tests. So ability, write a test to make sure the requirements of create a new user, to make sure create a new user works as expected. I'm gonna also do that today. So that's what I'm gonna do on my own, not on stream. It's been a while. We've been on stream for a lot. And then I will continue to try to finish off these other two tasks today too, where I can delete and edit a user, so that next time we get on here, we'll do stuff with like budgeting and stuff like that. Thanks everyone for watching. I really appreciate it. It's been a really long. It was a nice long. Whoops. It's been a nice long stream. Good 3 hours to get the work done. I again really appreciate you sticking around. Really appreciate the chat at the beginning. I love just chatting with people, and I love chatting with the community. So if you feel like joining and saying hi ever, like when I'm not on stream, we have a lot of cool people in the Discord. So please feel free to join it. It should be in the description if you're on YouTube. On Twitch, I just dropped it in the chat. Feel free to join it. Feel free to drop by. I plan on being here every Wednesday, and I plan on being here most Wednesdays, most Sundays. Stuff pops up though and stops me. And if you're ever expecting me and I'm not here, again, drop a message in the Discord and I'd be happy to chat. Yeah, so with that being said, I will catch y'all the next time. See y'all. Bye.